Haven't done one of these in a while. I spilled water on my shirt because I was drinking it too fast. You know me, I love my thirst. I think I did it again. Hello! Welcome to a brand new video today. The hair just keeps getting longer. This is like 2 weeks of growth from this in the last video. It just keeps going. Anyway, I'm responding to your comments because some of them were good. Some comments genuinely good. It made me really excited about the last video was because I saw people actually genuinely trying to like interface with the ideas that I presented in the video. For reference, last week I posted a video. I posted a video on how to deal 1,000 damage in D&D in 2 turns with 1 character. It was a wizard build, and the emphasis in that video on the build as a whole was its versatility. Was the idea that the build itself, the base of 18 wizard 2 fighter, can be moduled in such a fashion that while you still deal 1,000 damage, you could also do a multitude of other things. Like, the whole point of the video was talking about the versatility of the class and spell combo that I presented. How strong the spell combo was, how capable it was, but at the same time, you're still a full wizard, and I've only picked like 3 spells for you. You still have 40 more spells to learn. Like, that was like the whole point of the video. And somehow that was still missed. I talked about that for 30 minutes. There were 3 builds in that video, each showcasing the build itself. First, the base build, which is 18 evocation wizard, 2 fighter. Next, showing how to optimize for damage. Remove one of the wizard levels, replace it with the warlock level. Hexblade's Curse, do the same shit. You deal even more damage. Another way to module it. Remove the warlock, change the subclass, become a blade singer. And now you're focused on your armor class and more defensive and damage reduction and maintaining concentration on your spells. I showed 3 builds in that video. And still the comments missed the point. What can I expect from comment sections? On one end, we have the one end of the bell curve, and on the other is the other end of the bell curve. First, we have my comments, where I clarify some mistakes that I made. One was just a verbal mistake, and the other was shouting out my homeboy Danny Phantom EXE, because he made the Hero Forge for the thumbnail. Next, we have a good comment from a smart person, Garboils5762. Wizards sound like an app store. Can't find your car keys? Locate object. Plowing the field? Mold earth. Need to clean the house because the in-laws are on their way? On unseen servant. And genuinely, yeah, that's kind of the thing with Wizard, is that they have so much versatility. You could be focused in damage, but that doesn't really take a lot of specializing. You're saying you're specialized in damage, but then you could also have a really powerful summon or a really good control spell in the docket. There's a lot of versatility with the Wizard. Someone else saying the Wizard is more or less the Batman of the D&D classes. No matter what problem situation in front of you, the party happens, they've always got a way to work around it. And if they don't, then no one else probably does either. And that's the thing, right? Wizards are capable of solving any problem. They're like a very strong base. Here's another great comment. Holy crap, the versatility of that attack alone, you can use it as an AoE too. And even if it hits 4 foes with 1,006 average damage, they'd probably be dead right away as well. This is insane. Definitely having a Lich BAG in a future game use this. That's it as well. Because of how many attacks you make, as long as they're within 10 feet of you, they're gonna die. It's a really strong build with that in mind, because you don't have to use it as a single target damage thing. It's really good at that. It's just got a lot of versatility. I would recommend, instead of the Hexblade's Curse version, I would recommend just the regular evocation wizard thing, because Hexblade's Curse does only target 1 person. You could have 2 up with your simulacrum, but your average damage is going to be slightly less because you're targeting more people, but you get my point. I'll relate to the hair struggles right now. Dude, real. Though apparently you just gotta wait 2 weeks and then it grows out more. Cause I'm vibing right now. I'm vibing with this. Not gonna lie, I prefer a house rule where only Eldritch Knight using spells they learn through their subclass can bypass the 1 leveled spell per turn rule. No dual scorching ray without fighter 7, rendering this impossible. But it's loosened, so a grave care can freely bonus action spare the dying and cast a leveled spell. Also, if I want to break D&D with Wizard, I'll go Illusionist, get Misty Visions, and take Mirage Arcane. Blah, 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 blah. So, first of all, the first section of this comment, I prefer where only Eldritch Knights can action surge spells. Honestly, kind of based. Kind of a based homebrew rule. I'm not gonna use it, but I get the vision. You know, I see what you're putting down, and honestly, I support it. However, you can do that with the build I presented, because the point of the build was the versatility of it. Swap to illusionist. I think I even say that in the video. You can become an illusion wizard. Just be an illusionist. Like, that's part of my build. Pretty sure I'm referencing things like that. I wasn't aware of this combo, but like, yeah. Next, we have the first comment that made me a little confused. In order for this combo to work, all of the following needs to happen. Okay, all of the following is a little bit insane. It's like, in order for things to happen, the things need to happen. The enemy can't be immune to fire damage. First of all, not true. Or the type of damage you pick with Spirit Shroud. I respond to a lot of this in my comment below, so if you want to go and read it, you can go and check that out. But I want to start with this. The creature can't be immune to fire damage or the damage type you pick with Spirit Shroud. The damage type you pick with Spirit Shroud happens on cast of the spell. So if I'm fighting a red dragon, I'm picking Radiant, Necrotic, or Cold. The combination of fire plus Radiant, Necrotic, and Cold. Not many things resist all of those at once. There are things that will resist Necrotic, but not Radiant. Or Radiant, but not Necrotic. Or Cold, but not Fire. Or Fire, but not Cold. Rarely are you going up against things that will resist all of those at once. And usually when you're fighting a creature, it's pretty easy to figure out. I'm not exactly busting out my Super Inferno move on a fire elemental. You can figure it out. First point, it doesn't have to happen. I just need to have a brain cell and not use Giga Flare on the fire demon. And Scorching Ray, first of all, is not a heavy part of the spell. Yes, you cast Scorching Ray, but that's just to proc the attacks. In the video in question, I break down the math. Even if the thing is immune to fire damage, the spell still hits and still will trigger the Spirit Shroud damage. So despite being immune to fire damage, they're only losing out on 238 of the 1006 damage. So just to do some math here, 258, my apologies. Pretty sure that still leaves us with 748 damage. And that's still a shitload of damage. Oh no, instead of overkilling it twice over, I'm only overkilling it once and a third over. Fuck off. Next point. You and your simulacrum both need to get exactly 10 feet away from the enemy. This is insanely easy to do. You are a wizard. You can teleport. Dimension door. Vortex warp. You could say,
well, if you do that, if you reposition yourself, now you're out of your turn order and you can't cast Spirit Shroud or whatever.
No. Only one of us can't cast Spirit Shroud. What you can always do is have your simulacrum dimension door towards the enemy, and then you use Spirit Shroud. And would you look at that? You're right on top of the enemy. And if the creature is more than 500 feet away, whatever, take cover then. Make it come to you. Cast Wall of Force around yourself and your party, protecting them from ranged. Force them to take you out. Getting within 10 feet away from the enemy is incredibly easy to do. I don't know why you're even mentioning this. In order for marshals to be effective, they have to be within 5 feet of the enemy. Like, what is this? What is this point?
You both need to be exactly 10 feet away.
Yeah. Okay? It's like, in order for you to play the game, you gotta play the game. Dimension door exists. You can teleport up there. You need to maintain concentration for a full round. You only have a 57% chance to do so against a red dragon's breath weapon, even with resilient con, absorb elements, and warcaster. This is a fair point. Kind of. You see, what you're doing here, you're trying to bring a real-world example into a theoretical problem. You're suggesting like this is some kind of limitation, as if every build doesn't have to deal with concentration saving throws in order to be effective. So you've brought in this real game example of the ancient red dragon's breath weapon. And to that, I would say, first of all, few points. 1, I have presented you in this build with 3 out of the possible 40 or 38 spells, depending on which version you use. If you're using the high damage version, it's 38. I have presented you with 3 out of the possible 38 spells that you can pick. If you can't figure out how to kill an ancient red dragon with 18 levels in wizard, 2 levels of fighter, and 35 more spell options with a full docket of spell slots, that ain't on fucking me. You figure it out. I know how to do it. I can do it. In fact, something you guys don't see is me mathematically stress testing these builds. I don't get the point of bringing in this real world example as if it's some kind of limitation. You only have a 57% chance for both of you to maintain concentration, and I have an over 80% chance for one of us to maintain concentration. And if that were to happen, that'd be 214 average damage. 214 average damage on a 500 HP target, 2/5 of its health bar. Gone. From one character. Out of a whole party. You bring up the percent chance as if it's the silver bullet of something that's unlikely to happen. It's a 57% chance for both of us to be successful. That's better than a coin flip. If I win a coin flip, I get to kill the creature. And in this case, if we bring up the real world example of the ancient red dragon, we gotta calc for the armor class. The 214 damage is calced for the armor class. If both of us make the save, that's 346 damage on average. It's over half the creature's health. It is now left with 150 HP. A party filled with monks after that could finish the fucking thing off. I don't get the point of you bringing up the real world example as if it's some great refutation of the build. And the final point, you must be able to see the target. Oh no! No wizard in the universe of ever has ever picked up True Sight. Also, you didn't even check the fighting class that I picked. I picked Blind Sight, dipshit. It's invisible, I can see it. Dealing 346 damage to an ancient red dragon after calcing for armor class and immunities and resistances. I don't know many other builds that can do that without even a single bit of prep. They can just pop this out in the fight. But if we're so obsessed with real world examples, let's do one. Let's do a real world example. Dragon is 90 feet away. Our entire party is here. The wizard is here. Let's say for sake of argument, because we're trying to stress test shit, our wizard goes first. Him and his simulacrum cast Dimension Door, warping behind the dragon, okay? 10 feet away, but behind the dragon. Now the order is the two wizards, the dragon, and then the party 90 feet away. The main guy is going to use Spirit Shroud at 5th level, overchanneled. And then the simulacrum's going to action surge and is going to cast Wall of Force around himself and the full wizard, making a dome so they can't be breath weaponed upon. The dragon can either look at the rest of the party completely vulnerable, or it can cast Disintegrate on the Wall of Force, wasting its turn. I think that's pretty fucking good. You could say I didn't do that and I didn't mention this in the video, but I said you had the rest of your spell list to pick. I told you guys you can pick the rest of your spell list yourself based on your preferences. I shouldn't have to sit here and tell you how to beat an ancient red dragon if you're by the 20th level character, when you still have 35 more spells to pick. You should be able to figure that one out. I don't know. It just seems weird to me. I don't get why we bring up real world examples like this in comment sections and videos like this, because compare it to everything else. A paladin is going to be dealing less than 20 damage on average to this thing. A full paladin. A full wizard without the fighter level, even if they did have a simulacrum, would be dealing a third of this damage to this thing. Like, I don't get the point of these real world examples. It's not even showing how bad the build is. It just shows how good it is. This isn't a key limitation. Put an ancient red dragon against everything else in the game and see how they fumble and fold. I had people submitting builds to me when I used to review other people's builds as damage focused builds that did less than 100 damage in a round. And suddenly 1006, there's limitations we're ignoring. I'm not ignoring them, you just can't figure them out. Here's another one of these comments. While it is extremely strong, I appreciate that, there are a few things that can break it. Same with any build. I don't get the point of this comment now anymore. Granted, no build can do everything, not to dismiss, but more to remind people that having a strong build doesn't mean you're invincible. I mean, yeah, do people think that? Do people genuinely think that if you have a strong build, you're invincible? One big weak point in the build is its saving throws. While I can do Dex, Con, and Int saves and keep concentration up pretty well, it's weak against Charisma, Strength, and Wisdom saves. Here's the thing with this comment. Its Wisdom saves aren't bad. Its Wisdom saves are +5. But if someone's targeting you with something that has a Wisdom save attached, usually it's a spell. Well, I shouldn't say usually. There's actually a lot of things that aren't. But I think this is kind of missing another portion of the saving throw gamble, which is that a lot of things that are targeting you are spells. You have yourself and your simulacrum. You have 2 reactions at all time to counterspell. That means you win counterspell wars if people try to counterspell you, and that means that more importantly, you can out counterspell them because there's 2 of you. If somebody casts Dominate Person on me, I counterspell that. They counterspell the counterspell. My sim counterspells their counterspell. So we always win those wars. And as long as there aren't, like, everybody in the fight is casting Dominate Person on you, then you're fine. And if you are going up against a lot of spellcasters, you still have your 8th level spell slot, and you should just be using Anti-Magic Field. Or Globe of Invulnerability is a great concentration spell that you can take that can stop yourself from being dominated in those scenarios. You might not always be able to tell, granted, but if some guys show up in a bunch of robes with magic staves, probably about to cast some spells at you. Like a lot of the times these rebuttals come off as like,
well, you haven't thought of this scenario.
it's like you guys haven't thought of the counterplay. And because you haven't thought of the counterplay, you think I haven't either. Because I didn't mention it in the video. The point of the video was saying, look how little effort you need to do to actually get a lot of damage. I picked 3 spells, multi-class twice, only dipping 3 levels, so I've got 17 levels in full wizard, and I can deal 1,006 damage now. I still have 35 more spells I can pick and use to diversify my kit, to shore up my weaknesses, you know? Something like Dominate Person, provided it isn't counterspelled, or a strong charm effect is a weak point. Provided it isn't counterspelled, it's doing a lot of work here, I'm not gonna lie. Depending on which charm you are hit by, you and your simulacrum are now aimed at your party, which is more frightening the stronger the build is. You and your sim. Oh, so we're both getting dominated now. So there's 2 people dominating us, and we didn't bother casting Anti-Magic Field? Cringe. We didn't bother casting Globe of Invulnerability? Cringe. We didn't have a teammate with Dispel Magic? Cringe. Granted, they might be able to dispel the charm effect before your turn is up, but you get the point. Still a strong build and an interesting idea. Look how much caveating you have to put in this shit. I think I might be misreading the tone on this. I think they are genuinely trying to be nice. I think they're just talking through. Look at how many caveats you have to put into this just to come up with an argument for why this build isn't all powerful. But the thing is, it also isn't all powerful. A weak point I've seen nobody really fucking talk about in general is it can't really help the team other than by Wall of Force, unless of course you're picking those spells to do so. But the thing is the build is, I intentionally gave it to you guys incomplete so that you, the viewer, can put in and make it cater it to your play style. But you just also have a nuclear bomb in your pocket. Sure, you might be a more roleplay player, so you pick a bunch of roleplay spells and you're an illusionist wizard. But if somebody steps to you, you blow them up in the nearby or surrounding area. Because I don't get the point of bringing up it's not invincible. Like, yeah, I never said it was in the video. I just brought up how versatile and strong it was. Start fighter to get heavy armor and con save proficiency. Drop resiliency con for the cartomancy feat. Then use that wish cast to cast another and do that spirit shot at 7th level. So this person just got their math wrong and also didn't know how evocation wizard works and didn't know why I picked wizard at the start. So let me explain why I picked wizard at the start. The heavy armor proficiency is usually a great idea, and if you are starting at high level, I would recommend that. I picked wizard at the start because I'm constantly getting people asking me, what do I start with though? Even though in those videos I tell people what they start with, it confuses people. But I guess now I get these comments, so I can't fucking win. But I picked wizard in this, and I started as wizard to show people what you should play if you're playing this in a campaign from level 1 or like level 5, or you're starting at lower level. To give the full level up requirements, you go wizard to level 5, then you get 2 levels of fighter, then you get the rest wizard. That's it. That's how you play the character. That's how you build them, okay? If you're starting at high level, start fighter. If you're not, start wizard. Scorching Ray. Don't look an awful lot of creatures have immunity to fire damage. Not as many as you'd expect, and even if the creature has immunity to fire, the attack still triggering the Spirit Shroud on the evocation wizard is 554 damage. Even halved, that's 270 damage. This is amazing. Great video, seriously. Could it be better by using magic missile? And then I say no, because it doesn't. But this is another person who did good. Oh, and then this comment, which made me fight in the comment section for a while. I mean, the actual damage, especially versus high AC enemies, is far lower. Yes, I say that in the video. I tell you to calc it yourself. For example, ignore immunities. It would fail to kill Tiamat. Only does 334 damage. Only 334 damage. Only 334? Only 334. What is only 334 damage? It's more than Meteor Swarm. That's more than a level 20 fighter. That's more than a paladin with high levels and wizard and levels and fighter. And only 334? It's also not the strongest damage a wizard can do. Make a cannon with fabricate or several if you wish. Mid-fight? You're gonna pull out a cannon mid-fight? In case you can't notice, it takes 10 minutes to cast Fabricate. My build takes 12 seconds. And you have to target raw materials that you can see within range. Have skeletons operate them. Every 3 skeletons is 8d10 damage with a +7 to hit. 48 attacks at the skeleton cap. Against Tiamat with undead thralls and magic weapons, that's 741 damage, accounting for critical hit and base chance. This takes no resources. You can do it after round after round. Takes no resources except 10 minutes and raw cannon materials. And 144 skeletons. You guys kill me. You guys fucking kill me. I swear to God. Creatures or magic items can't be here as spell. You also can't use to create items that normally require a high degree such as craftsmanship unless you have proficiency with the type of artisan's tools to use to craft such objects. Okay, so now we're getting that with our background. Okay. So animate dead. So you would need to, within 24 hours, you need to find 144 piles of bones, 144 separate piles, use every spell slot you have in a 24-hour period. Otherwise, your animated servants are gone. Unless, does Necromancy Wizard have anything to do with... Six levels above is 12 plus 1, so it's 13 plus 11 plus 9 plus 7. This comment was dumber than I fucking thought. You were spending every spell slot from 3rd through 9th getting skeletons with 30 health. You're gonna take 10 minutes to fabricate a fucking cannon with raw iron of large size that you dragged up a fucking cliff or dragged into hell to fight Tiamat. Seriously? And this is your fucking rebuttal? No resources, my fucking ass. It took every spell slot you had from 3rd until 9th level. I used a 9th, a 5th, an 8th, and a 7th. I still have 1/6, 2/5, 3/4, and 3/3. You've got nothing of high level, and you've got a stupid fucking cannon that you took 10 minutes to cast. And if you don't use your 9th level spell slot on that create undead, let's say you use that for wish, you still have to drag the cannon supplies up the mountain. What is this argument? Also, you're fighting Tiamat. It's got 5 fucking breath weapons. Your skeletons are dying. They're gonna get blown up. They're gonna get incinerated by the 5 fucking breath weapons that are coming your way. And you can't protect any of them. They're just gonna die. Make a cannon with fabricate. Get a grip. This requires so much prep time. The entire point of the video is how little prep time that it takes to do how much damage I did. Later on in their comment string, they say, well, I purchased a breastplate at the store. Why can't I buy cannon supplies? First of all, that much raw iron is stupid. No one has that much raw iron just on fucking hand unless you're going to the cannon supply guy. So you're gonna go find the specific shopkeep? And in my video, buying a breastplate, that's equipment you can get at start anyway. At high level, you can get that shit. That is non-essential to the build itself. If I don't have the breastplate and the shield, my AC is 1 less. Like, what the fuck is the point of your comment? And either way, if I spend my whole day scrounging up fucking bones, and I get 144 bones, 144 piles of bones, or 144 corpses, I rob a graveyard all day. I spend my whole day robbing a fucking graveyard, and then I go to the cannon supply guy so I can go and get my cannon supplies, drag them all the way to hell, set them up, ask Tiamat politely for 10 minutes while I cast Fabricate, and then have them rotate out shooting a cannon. So fucking stupid. So this is me done responding to comments. If you want to go see the video that this video is talking about, go check the link in the description. Comments drive me insane sometimes, but there are a few good ones. I always try to respond to my good commenters who are actually engaging with the video and the premise of the video. I love you, okay? To those that aren't understanding the video, God help us all. Anyway, get the fuck out of my house.